SQE. Now the third route, and I was mind blown. I called the SRA. Like, you're exempt from the training contract. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I know it's been ages. I have no reason for it. Well, I do have a reason for it. Like, I've been super busy with work, but felt like this video was long coming. In my last law related video, I spoke about the SQE, spoke about the LPC, and I compared the two. And I always get asked, like, whenever I meet someone new, I always get asked, like, do you regret doing the LPC, knowing that the SQE can basically enable you to qualify without obtaining a training contract? And the answer is no. And the reason why it's no, and I'm not like dissing the SQE, I think the SQE is amazing and I think it's a great route, but I've already done the LPC, okay? So I don't regret doing the LPC because I know that I will eventually qualify. Just right now, it's not my time, guys. I'm not gonna like force myself, I'm not gonna push myself, I'm not gonna pressure myself to qualify as a solicitor, okay? I don't wanna be waiting for years on end and not ever qualify. I do. But that being said, it's hard work, and getting a training contract in the right place is so important. Your foundation as a trainee is something that will stick with you for the rest of your life, so you need to make sure that where you do that is the right place. It's going to take years before the SQE becomes normal process, at least 5 years, I'd say. Like, the training contract has been the traditional route for so many years, and the supervisors that supervise you whilst you're completing your training contract have most likely been through the same journey as you. So I think it just makes it easier in that sense. Like, I'm here, I'm in this position, I know that I have an exemption from the SQE1 because of the competencies that I've met in my LPC, but I still don't think that it's feasible for me to do the SQE2 because great for me because I've got the 2 years experience, I've got the 2 years qualifying work experience, and I only need to sit the SQE2 because that's the only exam that you do need to sit if you've done the LPC, but that costs money and I also need to prepare for that. And you know, it's just, I don't think it's the right thing for me for now. If it's something that I consider in the future, then maybe I'll share it with you guys, but for now it's not. The 3 routes to becoming a solicitor in England and Wales, yes, there are 3, okay? There may even be more. You can convert your foreign degree or your foreign practicing certificate into a UK one, but I'm not going to talk about that because I don't think that's relevant to like what I'm talking about. But entry level, okay? So you've got your training contract. I'm sure we all know about the training contract, the thing that is so difficult to find for many of us. We've got the SQE, which is the new way of qualifying as a solicitor in England and Wales, and that is you obtain 2 years qualifying work experience, you sit the SQE1, you sit the SQE2, and that is it. That is done, you're a solicitor, sit onto the SRA's roll of solicitors, and you are done. You don't need to worry, like, you don't need to think about anything. That's it, like, go fly. With a training contract, you of course do your training contract for 2 years. After you've done your LPC, you can do your LPC whilst doing your training contract, depending on like where you do your training contract and how comfortable they are with that. I think for in-house opportunities, that's probably something that is a bit more normal. But then once you've done your 2 years, before you are admitted onto the role, you have to complete your professional skills course. You don't have to do that with the SQE, so I guess that's a benefit, but it's paid for by your employer, and whilst it's intense, I think it's doable because you've done your training contract, and you should have that knowledge, I'd like to think anyways, and it shouldn't be too difficult, and it shouldn't be as time consuming as your LPC or your undergrad degree was. So yeah, so we've got the training contract, the SQE. Now the third route, and I was mind blown. So a bit of background about me. I am an in-house legal professional. I'm a paralegal and I work in one of the top 4 insurance brokers in the world. So I work for a very like international company, and I work in the London legal department. And I'm not saying like I work for a really international big company for jokes or for bants or to boast or anything, but I'm just trying to give you a picture of how it works, because traditionally my firm don't offer training contract. They don't train lawyers, but that's something that they've been looking into and more on that in the future, maybe. Like working in-house, it's not really common for you to qualify within their legal team, and especially when it's a big company, they can basically replace you like that unless they see value in keeping you. And of course, if that's the case, then they will do anything to retain and develop your talent within their company. I've been with this company for 2.5 years, been with them for ages, would like to qualify with them, but at the end of the day, I love the firm that I work for and I love working there, but at the end of the day, you have to think about yourself and you have to think about what's good for you. And if a training contract there is not something that will work, then of course you have to look elsewhere. So that's like my situation at the moment. Of course I'd like to train, but I think the more common thought of many lawyers or many organizations now is, why aren't you doing the SQE if you want to qualify? So the shift, I think the SQE is something that is promoted more, and the more people do it, the higher the success rate will be. And personally, I think it's such a practical approach to qualifying as a solicitor. I don't think a 2-year training contract can always identify the key competencies in a junior solicitor, and I don't think that every person can be tested based on just meeting like a checklist, you know. Whilst there's a checklist for the SQE, your qualifying work experience is not sat in seats, and it's not as complex as the training contract has become. But that being said, I feel like it really depends on where you work, and I think if I trained with my firm, I'd grasp most of the benefits of becoming a good solicitor, just because of the way we function as an organization. I really resonate with like the values, and it's a nice place to work for. It's crazy to think that when you are a qualified paralegal and you've done the legal practice course, and especially when you handle matters that solicitors handle, it's crazy to think that you can't get some sort of exemption from, if you can get an exemption from the SQE1, having done your LPC and knowing that you've got 2 years qualifying work experience, why can you not get an exemption from the traditional qualifying route through the training contract? So then I was talking to people and I thought, is there a way of me, so cheeky, but is there a way of me basically being exempt from doing the training contract because of my experience? Because the competencies in a training contract that you have to meet, there's a long list of practices that you need to meet, and I'm not being funny, but I've met all of them. I think my advocacy is something that I probably need to work on. My role isn't client facing, only like sometimes. Because my role isn't client facing, I don't have to liaise with clients a lot, and so maybe I could brush up on my advocacy and then perhaps a bit on my litigation. But apart from all of that, I have met all the criteria, and so I thought, like, can I be exempt? So what did I do? I called the SRA, and I called them and told them my situation, and they told me that I can actually be exempt from the training contract. And at this point, guys, I was mind blown. I was like, what? Like, I don't even have to do a training contract. I can do it by myself. How? And how you can do it is, it's called the equivalent means route. Now, the equivalent means route basically means that you have to submit an application, which is £600 on the SRA website. It doesn't cost that much in the grand scheme of things, but £600, and you have to build a portfolio of all your experience that has to be signed off by a supervisor in the past 2 years. And the work needs to be signed off by a supervisor, and your supervisor should be a solicitor, but doesn't have to be a solicitor. So my manager does everything that a lawyer does, but she's not actually qualified as a solicitor, and she's got enough legal experience. She's the best, like, basically she's perfect. Okay, she's a lawyer, just doesn't have like the title, like she's not qualified, but she's got enough legal knowledge, experience and expertise to deal with legal matters. And so if she like signed for my work, it would be fine. So if you have a similar situation where your supervisor is not a lawyer, does all legal things, then that is fine. You have to provide like your employment contracts to show that you were at whatever place you've said you were at for X amount of time. You need to list every single thing you've done, and it needs to meet the criteria on the SRA website. I think it's called it's like their common practices. I will put the name over here to make it like easier for you guys. It can take up to 6 months, it can take up to a year. It depends on how detailed you want it. I spoke to one girl who said her portfolio was 1,000 pages long. I spoke to another guy who said his portfolio was 50 pages long. So it really depends, and they both qualified and are now solicitors through the equivalent means route. You do have to do the professional skills course. If your employer is nice enough, they will fund it for you if you have like a position in your firm and you know they support your application. But if not, then you have to pay for it yourself, and it costs a bit of money, but you qualify. You actually qualify as a solicitor once you've done that. And that's it, like you're exempt from the training contract. And I was mind blown when I was told this, and I did my research and I spoke to, like I went on LinkedIn and I spoke to different people who qualified through this route. And people are really nice, by the way. Like, people do not hesitate to help other people in the same situation as them. So I really hope that I'm that kind of person. But I thought I'd put that out there and share that information with you guys, because I didn't know, and I had no idea that there is another way to qualify, and it basically means that you're exempt from the training contract so long as you can prove it. And I see no issue with submitting a long portfolio with detailed explanations of all your experiences, and you basically did a training contract without even knowing it. But yeah, I thought I'd share that information with you guys. And I know the next question is going to be, so if that is a route available to you, why aren't you doing it? Good question, and I will answer that in a few months. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I gave you some new information. I hope this video was informative. I'm sorry I haven't made a video for so long, but hopefully I'm going to be consistent. And I know I say that all the time anyways, but hopefully I will be consistent next time. Some of you girls are so nice. You've been messaging me on Instagram and we've actually become friends, and it's just so sweet because I love making new friends. And it's so nice, like, making friends with people who actually like you. Like, you know they like you because they know stuff about you. But does that make sense? Because I'd rather make a friend that likes me for my personality and like knows who I am, because I have no trouble in getting to know people. Like, I love getting to know people. So when you guys reach out to me, it makes me so happy, and I want to be your friend. Like, I actually want to be your friend. And I hope that my videos help. I've heard that they do, and it's nice to know that they do, but I really hope that they actually do. I wish you all the best of luck with your legal journey. I really hope that it all works out for you. Just be patient, and just know that if it's not happening now, it's not your time. It will be your time. I'm 28 this year. I don't have a training contract. I used to get upset about it, but I don't get upset about it anymore, okay? I'm happy with my life, happy with my job. Good health, happiness means way more than a training contract does. And I hate the words training contract just in general. Me and my mentor talk about this all the time at work. I've got a really nice mentor as well. Maybe I'll tell you about her another time. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. I'm hoping to make like more legal content. I actually filmed a video just before this one. It's like a legal Q&A, so I will probably upload that one either before or after this. But subscribe so you get notified, and I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.